For me, I oppose the concept of the global novel to that of the regional novel that was popular at the end of the 19th century. For a working definition, I consider the global novel to be an extended narrative that is set in or draws deeply on two or more substantially different countries and cultures, that presents a moderately thorough account of salient features of both societies. This is not merely tourist fiction, and that builds on transnational modes of communication, transportation, and above all, economic interaction. It frequently employs innovative narrative strategies, such as braiding together very different narrative strands, and almost always is concerned deeply with issues of closure. Closures at every level, from the personal to the social to the global. I'm very interested in exploring an additional related idea, that of the global intertext. A global intertext is simply a text, usually a multinational narrative, that generates global novels. It is rooted typically in different cultures, often in two continents, and set among two or more countries. This text then produces and provokes readings by authors from a variety of different cultures and societies. Paradigmatic example of this kind of text is Shakespeare's The Tempest, which has been rewritten numerous times over the last several centuries, particularly in the 20th century. We recall that The Tempest is set among Europeans, who nevertheless are on an island that is not too far from the coast of Africa, and which itself resembles strongly accounts of the recently discovered island of Bermuda. This is a typical kind of setting for a global intertext. Another such paradigmatic text is Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness. We recall it is set first in England, the narrative moves to Belgium, then Central Africa. It has been rewritten by a number of authors using a variety of settings and groundings and different responses. Alejo Carpentier's Los Pasos perdidos, set in New York City and the jungles of northern South America, Venezuela probably. A hero goes up a large significant river, which may very well be the Orinoco, unnamed, just as Conrad's is unnamed in what is certainly the Congo River. There is Tayeb Salih's Season Migration to the North, set in London and Sudan. And there it is England that is this strange, bizarre country, uninterpretable, where the natives are difficult to understand and dangerous and cruel. The weather is so cold, it's savage, it's killing. Even the fish freeze to death in that far north country. And there too, the principal individual becomes corrupt. He goes native. He becomes as bad as the English themselves. Still others, Uwe Timm's The Snake Tree is a fascinating narrative that recreates the same conditions in a South American country under the conditions of neo-colonialism. They're a German engineer working for the local government as the indigenous population of Native Americans is on the brink of a full-scale revolt. There are many others, including Caribbean and Northern South American rewrites by Daybydeen, or Caryl Phillips in Crossing the River, that is actually multi-continental, involving Africa, the United States, and Britain in multiple different voyages and interactions. I can also point to Marie Dariussecq's Il faut beaucoup aimer les hommes, a particularly interesting narrative that begins in Los Angeles with a French filmmaker who meets up with an African actor, and they decide, why don't we film Heart of Darkness in the Congo? And as they attain the financing and go there to begin the filming, they start unintentionally reproducing the very conditions that Conrad was both enacting and denouncing at the time.